Check one, two. Right back at it. Just wanted to double up real quick. Just wanted to double up real quick and actually get a little bit more familiar with these streaming platforms. It's it's 3 p.m. Wednesday or whatnot, and we're currently in Arlington, Texas. I did about a half an hour, 15 minutes on preventive maintenance. You can go check my YouTube channel and also my previous Facebook Live. My previous Facebook Live show, and actually, you can actually find out what we was talking about right there. Go and find out what was the subject matter that we was talking about. Man, I try to talk about things that are not necessarily talked about at your church or amongst your friends or in your business time, but this is a good time to bring up those subject matters. And eventually, I'm gonna have a platform where we can actually call in. And I would like to hear some people talk, and we can interact with each other and just see what's going on, see what's on the people's mind. Uh, in the year 2019, 5 to 6 to 7 years ago, it wasn't cool or it wasn't considered to be immature to be on the internet, on Facebook, on YouTube, and all these different platforms. But if you're not within these platforms right now, of one way or another, if you're not checking into any of these platforms, whether you're 60 to 70 years old to 30s, and you might just be busy, you might uh, pass on a lucrative opportunity or just an opportunity to uh, become more of a independent and an opportunity to start a business or using these tools, these platforms to state your opinion, create a forum, um, create a survey, bring up different topics, use it as a form of talking out against things that you may agree with, and using our constitutional rights as a free speech. Uh, yeah, we was talking about preventive maintenance and just being amongst family members, being amongst people of business um, in your group, and this is almost of a how to be successful and how to create a healthy environment amongst yourselves, how to create an environment amongst yourselves and amongst your group and amongst your platform. And I was speaking about having these table talks. Breaking bread and having these table talks is very vital to having a group dynamic, having a good group dynamic, whether it's at home with your family or maybe with your business associates, being able to talk and find out um, from their perspective of how they feel and bringing up different conversations. Preventive maintenance is a subject matter, and I want us to take a look at this is the part two of the talk. First of all, don't hate me because of my clean T-shirt, my crispy T-shirt um, that has the tight neck to it. And it's pretty, how should I say, it's pretty thick also. And if you have any questions or whatnot, if you want to talk, feel free to leave a comment and I'll probably get back to you if it's worth my while. I know usually these platforms have, different trolls that come up and we'll deal with you accordingly. But preventive maintenance is just a subject matter that came to mind because of a incident that happened on March 31st uh, with a gang member of the Rolling 60s Crips who was actually gunned down by someone who was actually kicked out the game because of his cooperation with the government. And the first thing that came to my mind, the first thing, the instinct was, preventive maintenance. How can we stop this from happening? And I spoke about, different organizations that were actually crumbled from inside because of jealousy and envy. And so one of the preventive maintenance ways of how we're going to stop these things, and one of my listeners was saying you can't stop a person from being jealous, you can't stop a person from being envy, but you can prevent those people from being around. You can eliminate those people from your cipher. You can eliminate those people from, uh, or you can control your environment by doing the proper preventive maintenance. Once you find out that that person is an op, eventually you can stay away from that person, or you can do things to nullify the effect of a hater or envious person. Like I said, I'm not qualified to sit up in the pulpit and preach to you and whatnot. Only thing I'm doing is giving you my experience from my life, and also I'm giving you sincere advice, and this can actually help improve the quality of your lives. Um, First and foremost, we talked about different questions that we can ask in order to have these table talks. In order to have these table talks and these dinner talks and whatnot, we have to first of all turn off social media. We have to turn off the TV, and there needs to be an hour to 2 hours of you know, actually scraping the brain and finding out and asking the questions that are not necessarily asked on a daily basis. Oh, how are you doing? Or that's just something that a lot of people they say, but not necessarily sincere about. So we have to find out different questions and whatnot, and actually sitting down at the dinner table, sitting down and having these table talks. It's going to be a test to find out, you know, how your group situation is happening, how healthy it is. And so, what do I mean by that? I mean, if it's hard for you guys to sit down, if it's hard to come, if it's uncomfortable for you to sit down at the dinner table with each other, eat, break bread, and then start a conversation, then you know that your group dynamic, your organization, your family has been compromised. And then how how the people in the church would say the devil has infiltrated. Because if it's uncomfortable for you guys to be around each other, then there's something that has to happen. If the lines of communications are not open with each other, then it might be something that's mentally prohibiting us from communicating with each other. You have to ask yourself, have you wronged somebody? You know, is there anything that I could do or whatnot? You know what I'm saying? And I find out in a lot of different conversations when we ask a conversation, when we ask a question, I'm sorry, we ask a question and that line of communication is diverted to some other subject matter, not having to deal with the initial question, then we know we have a problem on our hands. Something is purposely being avoided, something, or there might have been a past injury. There might have been a past time of unconsciousness where you might have sparked up a conversation, you might have sparked up trigger words amongst each other that caused us to hurt. And so we automatically shut down. So that's how some people deal with other people who are totally incapable of acknowledging who they are when it comes to another person. Now, you may have selfish people who are not even concerned about what you think of them, you know? And some people feel that you have a right to do that. You have a right to care, not care about how other people are not, taking you or how they perceive you. But when you're in close proximity, when you're working together, you know what I'm saying? When you're living together, when you have different objectives and you're working as a team, whether you're a football team, coaching staff, it's very vital for everybody to be on the same page and have a good perception of each other so that we can actually accomplish the goal at hand. Then we can stop and prevent the jealousy and envy from rising up because of the lack of communication. I repeat once again, it may be a problem, and the devil has probably might manifested. I don't even want to use the devil because that sounds so, churchy or preachy and whatnot. We're so used to hearing that on a daily basis. It's like the word of the preacher is almost like, another song on the radio that you just happen to hear and enjoy, but it has no concrete within the self-accusing spirit. It doesn't hit home anywhere. So one day I'll talk about the being uncomfortable. You know, when that when that comfort is compromised by sitting down at the table, that's when we have to sit down at the table. We have to get things straightened out. How many times have we been on holidays and we sat down with each other and we just found out, we're just chopping it up because really we can't stand being around each other, man. Where does that happen? How does that happen? For your own family members, you know, or your people in the organization, you just can't stand being around each other. Where does that come from? You know? So preventive maintenance, preventive maintenance, whether you're running a business or not, maybe you're running a record label. It's important for the CEO or those OGs, as they call them, or those in high ranking executives, make known and have an open line of communication and be able to have that type of open line of communications just so things down the line doesn't happen. Preventive maintenance. You know what I'm saying? When it's uncomfortable being around each other and sitting at the table, that's a problem. And that problem needs to be solved quickly. What are some of the things that we can discuss at the dinner table and having these table talks? What are some of these what subjects can we bring up without us being uncomfortable? And at the same time, when we're in the process of having these table talks, man, it has to be even playing field. God's child, everybody is God's children, so we can't actually disregard what the children are saying. We can't disregard what the young people are saying. We can't disregard that. And we can't disregard what the old folks are saying. So it has to be a mutual ground. This is this basic fundamental. This is this basic fundamental group dynamics. Being able to communicate with each other and also, doing the proper preventive maintenance. Usually it's the person and the grandpa, maybe the grandmother who has the wisdom that'll be able to lead these type of conversations and whatnot. You know, but a lot of times the homes these days are a single parent home. It might be a single parent home. Come home, cook dinner, put it in, and just trying to wind down. You don't really have time to do that. And then you might come home and you want to watch a show. You might want to feel entertained because you might want to crack open a beer. You might want to smoke some weed. You might want to do different things. You know, different things may happen in order for you to escape those treacherous 9 to 5 jobs that we all try to get away from and start our own business, become entrepreneurs, and do something that you could possibly like to do for yourself and come home with a smile. But it's a problem. When do you have that time to talk? How often do you have that time to talk? Though you may know what's going on with the person, you still need to talk to that person. You still need to find out what they're thinking. Want to, based upon their experience, telling you something that you haven't, what you don't know yet. You know, this is fundamental. Preventive maintenance. We talk about family, and I'm seeing that word a lot. Family first. Really? Based upon what? Based upon what? How are we family? And that's a big question. And and when it comes to preventive maintenance and family, what is it? Blood? Really? Is it blood? Really? That connects all of us? It makes us family? It's a little bit deeper than that. It's much deeper than that. It's your own blood that can cross you. And what's that go to say? It's not the blood that's actually uh, keeping these families together. Look at your single parent household. Look at your families. Look how the family has deteriorated when grandpa and grandmother has gone. Preventive maintenance. That's the subject matter for the day. Fundamentals. Basic fundamentals. While those people are speaking about Nipsey Hussle and the significance of his death and things that matter, trying to entertain you, while they're trying to entertain you doing other type of things, telling you all kinds of conspiracy things. I'm here today keeping it 100 with you, 1,000. Preventive maintenance. Slauson Crenshaw, a neighborhood of the same gang set, in a dangerous area. Preventive maintenance in your neighborhood. Anybody can walk past. Preventive maintenance, man. But getting back to my subject matter, when grandma and grandpa has gone, where the dinner tables at? Where's the dinner? Where are the dinner? Where are the dinners at? Where are the table talks at? If you had a table talk, turn the TV off. Turn off the social media. Don't bring your phone to the dinner table. Don't bring your phone to the dinner table. If it's uncomfortable for your family members to put that phone down, to not have the TV or the radio running while you're eating dinner, and being able to sit down, you've already been contaminated. You've already been contaminated. That family structures has already been diluted. Contamination, like growing fungus, has been in the air within the group dynamic through your organization, through your fraternity, your sorority. Let's sit down and have a dinner talk. Basic fundamentals. Basic fundamentals. Why is this a subject matter? Why are we talking about this? My family does these things. You're probably saying. Maybe, maybe not. But at the same time, there's families that don't. There's a mother that's had two jobs and got children at home only for social media, only for social media to be raising them up. Social media has their attention. Social media is in your house raising your daughter and your son. Period. So when the gap, so when the gap when so you know when the outrageous thing happens and you lost control of your daughter or your son, and you ain't been having your dinner talks. It's hard to trust people. You know, you thinking to yourself, me not having your brothers and sisters, unfortunate. These institutions that we have, they really don't have a chance for us to open up and talk. There's always just one person delivering the message, and we supposed to take that. We need other people to complain. Sometimes a person just need to complain, even though you don't want to hear it. Some people need to know what's going on. Preventive maintenance. Our sons, our daughters, police brutality, Trayvon Martin incidents, Michael Brown incidents. Preventive maintenance. What do you what do you say to your child after these events happen? Do we sit down and have the table talks? Do we actually sit down and have these table talks? No. I had a situation where it was about 8 o'clock at night in Akron, Ohio, and it was some children, might be between the age of 13, 14, 15, in a bunch walking down the street, sitting behind a gas station. At 8 o'clock at night, it was dark, hoodies on. This is after about three young black men have been gunned down, Tamir Rice in Cleveland. I immediately, I had to approach them. Since they might not have that table talk at home, they might have had that dinner talk at home. Sitting there by the gas station, just wandering around with no objective. I had to tell them, you guys can't sit here. This not no playground. This is a setup for a possible shooting of another black young man. You guys, 13, 14, it's about 10, 11 you guys behind the gas station. And there's already been reports of young kids stealing, going in, stealing 10, 15 at a time, stealing and running out. So I had to go and tell them, look, man, you can't stay here. I got resistance from some of them. And then I said, you know what? This is nothing but a situation. That's another Trayvon Martin situation. It sparked it sparked something in them though. Half of them said, okay, they lent me an ear, and the others, continued to act hard and didn't want to answer. But I said, look, man, move. You gotta go. Move. You gotta go. You know why? This situation can happen to you. And while those who are being rebellious at the time and half of them wanted to leave, I was able to have their attention for the last 2 to 5 minutes. This is the situation that you got Trey Martin and whatnot. There's a situation to get a call in. They can say, look, we're looking for a pack of teenagers with hoodies on. There's been a robbery in the gas station. Police come down. You got your hands in your pocket. He opens fire. As you, being the rebellious one and not want to move, you see the cop because you kind of streetwise and hit the young lady that's behind you. That's how that situation plays out. But they're looking at me like, who are you to tell me what to do? What do you mean? You know what I had to tell them? I had to tell them because I love you. Phew. And it was sincere truth, but those 3 words resonated. I had to tell them, since they're not getting these, since they're not getting, you got to, and I'm bringing it home to you because it's preventive maintenance. We're talking about the table talks and sitting at home. This is a situation where you cannot be wandering around 13, 14 years old with no objective of where you're going. If we're going to the playground, if we're going to the party, let's get there. If we're going to the mall, let's get there. But we got to have a mission and whatnot. And we can't be wandering around the streets, 13, 14 year, 13, 14 year, 13, 14 year olds with no supervision, right? At this day and time. Because of social media and the news, it looks as if the killing of a black man by a police officer is the usual. Social media and the news has made it so, try to make it so comfortable. Oh, okay, that's another one that was shot. What was he doing? You know? So that's what I had to tell him though. The dinner talk and the table talk didn't happen at the dinner table, but I had to do it on the street. This is some of the things that we have to take advantage of, man. Why weren't the kids having the table talks? Shouldn't be doing that. What's going on with the churches? What's going on with the mosques, the temples? Social media is making it so easy for these kids not to listen to the parents. Table talks, preventive maintenance. First and foremost, single parents, if you don't have a good relationship with your father, your baby father or baby mother, encourage open communication with the father and mother and their children. You guys don't have to speak. Let's just act like we have some wisdom. Basic dinner talk, basic dinner talk, table talk. Take them out to dinner. And if it's wisdom that is being preached, on the other hand, whether or not you get along with the mother or the father, let's edify each other and back each other up based upon the principle. A basic dinner talk. Yeah, me and the mother agree. Me and the mother or the father may agree on this principle. Let's endorse that. I know it might be unbearable. I can't stand this nigga. I can't stand this BI. Yeah, but we have to understand that's God's child. It came from the mother, it came from the womb of the mother, most definitely, via the seed of the father. But at the dinner talk, this is preventive maintenance I'm talking about. I'm bringing it back home for you. Preventive maintenance. I'm about to get off. I'm gonna make these 30, try to make these 30 minutes. But this is just another subject matter that you could talk about. You could talk about at the table. I'm just talking about it 30 minutes in. Encourage your children to talk. I know they might be quiet. Pick their brain. If it's uncomfortable, they've been contaminated. As a child, they used to talk all the time. They explored. They touched things. They were fearful. They wasn't fearful of things. They were fearless as a child. But as they grew up, you know, what happened? I wanted to double down and come up with a preventive maintenance part two for you guys today. It's so much to talk about. And we're gonna talk about those subject matters that nobody else is talking about. We're not gonna come up with a watered down show. We're not gonna come down here and we can say this is a talk show or media or whatnot. We're not gonna come down with that watered down stuff, man. I'm gonna check some things out, man. I'm gonna go to a couple churches. I might go to a couple mosques and find out what's going on. I'm gonna come back to my opinion. Preventive maintenance. You guys got the Bible. You guys got the Qurans. How long is it gonna take for you to get it right? How long is it gonna take for us to get it right? How long is it gonna take for us to extract these principles and have these table talks and these dinner talks again? We need to have these dinner talks and table talks simultaneously. It needs to be a holiday every Wednesday or a couple Wednesdays of the month. In the middle of the week, work week, where families and organizations can sit down and talk with each other. Just a simple conversation, man. We could talk about what's on TV. We could talk about what's on the news. We could talk about who's running for mayor. We could talk about a good recipe. We could talk about eating right. We could talk about doing all the things to be a perfect human being in the world. We could talk about some stuff that we could talk about the young lady, or the young man. Not necessarily gossip, but we can say, yo, this is what I seen. You can bear witness to something. Yeah, this is what I seen. You know, table talks, man. What are you guys talking about when you smoke your trees and your beer? Is it constructive? What is it going to produce? These are the table talks or whatnot, man. And I just wanted everybody to understand and sit down at the dinner table, man. Let's do some reflection. It might be a part three. I'm gonna have to go into these subject matters a little bit further. But like I said, man, this ain't a show where I'm gonna give you some watered down. I'm gonna give you some watered down stuff. You know, just actually food for thought. Period. Everybody clickbaiting, finding out what's going on with the next entertainment industry. Yeah, we're gonna talk about some entertainment too, but we're gonna bring it right back home to the dinner table. We're gonna bring it right back home to these table talks. That's what the foundation is. The home. As soon as you get out the shower, brush your teeth, go in the refrigerator before you get out in that day. And though my and though it may not have the most views because it's not on World Star for something negative or something outrageous, please believe it's going to be quality. We'll find a way to make you guys pay for it also. Period. Because it's quality talk. It's quality talk that I'm giving. You understand? It's quality talk that I'm giving. It's quality points that's going to help improve the quality of your lives. It's something that's missing right now in the aspect of social media. Someone just keeping it 100, pointing out the rights and wrongs, not looking for all the views. Yeah, we signing off. It's 38 minutes or whatnot. We on a Wednesday, 3:39 p.m. Hopefully, I get back with another table talk, another dinner talk with preventive maintenance. Subscribe to my channel. Give me some likes or whatnot. Signing off.